Water. What's cracking, ladies and gentlemen? We thank you as always for tuning into the Sports Life and Everything Else podcast, aka Sleep, where sports, life, and entertainment collide. Presented by the away team in conjunction with
Excellence!
my name is Michael Roberts, aka Mike on the mic, and I'm joined by my good friend and co-host, Mr. Taylor Suber.
Howdy, what's going on, y'all? How y'all doing?
Taylor, what's up with you?
Nothing, man. Same old, same old. Cannot complain, man.
How's your day going?
Day is always going good, man. Cannot complain.
Beautiful,
Day
beautiful.
outside, man. Can't complain.
Taylor, there's always sunshine and rainbows. There's never nothing
No.
that's too bad that's going on with Taylor.
And if I did, y'all wouldn't care anyway, so.
Exactly.
So.
Most people don't care, and the other people are glad it's you.
Exactly.
You can follow us on Twitter and IG and subscribe to the YouTube page at Sleep is For You. That's S.L.E.E.P, the number 4, Y-O-U. Or listen to audio episodes wherever you find your podcasts. Make sure y'all subscribe to the YouTube page because we're trying to spread like rumors. Show love, show hate. We here for it all. Tell a friend to tell 2 friends about us. In today's episode, we'll be discussing, is better always best? And we'll explain that a little bit more later if it doesn't really make sense right now. We'll also be listing our top 5 Kendrick Lamar songs. Remember, this is our top 5, not like the universal top 5, not what we think is the top 5 that other people would vote if it was like an MTV panel or a Rolling Stone panel and nothing like that. This is our top 5 Kendrick Lamar songs. And if you don't like it, keep it moving. And of course, all that good sports talk and coverage that makes this the top shelf and keeps the good people tuning in. So, without any further ado, let's spin. So, Taylor, we are into the summer now. We've had football season end. We've had the draft happen. We've had a good amount of off-season moves happen already. We haven't hit free agency just yet, but
For who?
we have.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
Passed already, yeah.
Free agency has happened.
Yeah, that's the first thing that happens first, yeah.
Allegedly, I burn it down every now and again. I admitted it once. It's allegedly. You can't necessarily take that to heart. Anywho, yes. So we're going to start off this week's episode with talking about a little bit of Eagles offseason and draft recap, just because that's where we are right now. Speaking on the draft, pull this up real quick.
Quinyon Mitchell with the first.
I got names right here.
Was their first overall
Yep,
pick.
Quinyon Mitchell, and then Cooper DeJean was their second.
Yep.
Where we at?
Jalix Hunt, outside
Here we go,
pass
here we
rushing linebacker.
Yes, Jalix Hunt was their 3rd round pick out of Houston Christian. Number 4th round pick, they picked up Will Shipley, running back out of Clemson. 5th, I'm gonna slaughter his name, but Aeneas Smith, excuse me,
Smith, yeah.
wide receiver out of Texas A&M. With another 5th round pick, they took Jeremiah Trotter Jr. out of Clemson, linebacker. With their final 5th round pick, they picked up Trevor Keegan, inside linebacker out of Michigan.
Offensive guard.
Word?
Yeah.
You know what? I don't know what IOL means, so
Inside lineman.
you know what? You're right. Inside offensive lineman. That's deep.
Yeah.
They switching things up just at the drop of a hat. You know what? Y'all got chill. 6th round, they picked up Johnny Wilson, a wide receiver out of Florida State, and they also picked up Dylan McMahon, another offensive lineman out of NC State. So what do you think about these guys, Taylor? I mean, I heard good things about Quinyon Mitchell, despite the fact that he went to Toledo. And it's true. It's not always about the school. Sometimes the guy can surpass. Sometimes guys can find little reasons to go harder, little slights, little reasons that they can that can change their careers. To be honest, I am hearing good things about Cooper DeJean, which he says he's going to change the Cooper DeJean. If you from Philly, you know what DeJean is. So that's what it is. And if he does that, double salute to that man. But other than that, I don't know a whole lot about these other guys. I'm not the biggest college football guy. I'm gonna keep it 100% honest with y'all. I would like to get into it more. I would like to be more on that.
Well, that's why I'm here. I've seen
There
at
we
least what? How many? That's 8 players. I've seen 6 of these guys play
go. Okay.
with my own 2 eyes. So
Okay.
only reason why I saw Quinion Mitchell was in either the first or second game of this past season with Ohio State. They matched up against them. It's kind of like when a good team goes against like a lower tier team. All right, we're gonna go against Toledo. It's not that far. Ohio State or Toledo. I don't know how long the ride is. Probably ain't that far. But he actually played pretty well against Marvin Harrison in that game. And that's kind of when he started getting the looks. And when people started looking behind the scenes, well, why did he stay at that school? I think, if I'm not mistaken, his grades weren't that good, but that school was like the only school that took him. He was a good high school player, and he had a chance to switch to hit the transfer portal. And Nick Saban actually went after him to come down to Alabama this past year to play. Now, mind you, they had 2 corners that went in the first. I think he went in the first round. Well, Kool-Aid went in the second round, but he had first round grade, and Terrion Arnold, who went after him. So Nick Saban, already having 2 corners that he knew was going to be on his team, went after this kid this time last year in the transfer portal, but he wanted to stay loyal to Toledo and said, no, this team took a chance on me. I'm going to rock out with them. Whatever happens is going to happen. And so his character as a quote unquote man is really, really high. And I think that's why the Eagles probably picked him.
Okay.
His character is good, and I think he'll be able to come in, learn from Darius Slay. I think they should cut Bradbury because Bradbury stinks. I don't care what the cap penalty in. He's not going to get no better. I think Slay stinks too, but I think you have to get younger at the secondary. You cannot keep dragging older guys that have been paid a bunch of money. It's not gonna work out for you. You always have to keep the corners young. Jacksonville been doing this.
Fact.
Not Jacksonville, Baltimore. They always keep their corners young, and when their corners hit that certain age, they either let them go or trade them, or they don't be back there no more. So you always have to keep the corners young because these receivers are young, and you want these receivers and the corner to be around the same who they chasing after. So Quinion Mitchell is a good pick. I think I don't know how it's going to pan out, but I think that's a good pick because remember how the draft fell. Those defensive players were picked until like the Indianapolis pick when they picked Latu. And he had like a neck. He had like a neck thing with him. He had actually retired from football and then came back. So everyone that defensively had like question marks about them. So when Eagles drafted the corner who kind of fell to them, they didn't trade up to get him. I'm glad they just waited and it fell right to them. Because people were talking about you got to trade up, but they were just picking offensive player after offensive player after offensive player. And then you saw what Atlanta did, jumping out the window and taking Penix. That pushed a lot of good players down. And the Eagles just sat right there and just said, we could take this corner right here, or we could take the kid from Alabama. They took the kid that they kind of like a little bit better. We'll see how it works out because Terrion Arnold went right behind him. So we'll see. But I think that kid's a good pick. And also Cooper DeJean was getting a first round grade too. They got him in the second round. They jumped up a couple picks to grab him. Now I think he's more of a safety. I don't think he's really like a corner. So if I was to use him this year, I would probably use him as like a slot corner / safety, kind of because all these corners and safety, slot corners and safety, they interchangeable. Like what's his name, Tyrann Mathieu. He'll play safety, but he'll drop down to the slot corner. Same thing with C.J. Gardner, who they brought back.
Yep,
he plays safety. He'll drop back he'll drop in. So I think that Cooper DeJean can do that. Now, yes, I'm going to make the obvious. He's a white guy. I'm a white guy playing safety. We don't see too much of that anymore. And as soon as I heard him being talked about being drafted, the Eagles were going to draft him. Like I knew this 2 months ago.
Knew it from the rip.
The Eagles love themselves some white safeties, going back to Michael Zordich and Tim Houck, and they got one right now. What's his name? Blankenship. I don't know what it is, but it's just like we got to get that white safety.
Like the white D-backs, huh?
Yeah, I mean, so I knew. But thing about Cooper DeJean, he is he's a punt return. He is a bit of an athlete, and they had Chicago had actually another corner last year that they put in the NFL draft. I think he plays for Denver right now. I think his name is Riley Moss or something like that. So, but Cooper DeJean, he's built. He's 6'1". He's over 200 some odd pounds. So he's got the size. He's got some type of speed. Now he just came through an injury this past year with a foot injury. So hopefully he's healthy, and we'll see. Like I said, I think he'll be more of a safety, and I think what the Eagles will try to do is try to. If Bradbury comes back, I think what they'll do is they'll kind of like push him to the side, if he comes back, and they'll probably let S.L.E.E.P pan out the rest of the season. But I think Mitchell is going to play a lot this year. I think Cooper DeJean, he'll be out there too. The outside linebacker at 3rd round pick, I thought that was a little bit of a stretch, because I never heard this kid before. I never heard that college before. But maybe this is a what's his name? Fangio. Maybe this is his pick. Maybe this is like, listen, I like this kid. I think I can work with him. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's what it is. And I know Fangs does have some pull on that defense because it's his defense. Yeah. And the Eagles are switching to a whole different defense this year. They're going to the 3-4. Everybody knows about the 3-4. Back when the Jets used to run it. I think the 49ers used to run it. The Packers have been running it for the past 15, 20 years, so the Baltimore. So the defense is going to look differently because they want to make sure that Jordan Davis, who's the big nose tackle, can get more, they just want to use him to his full capacity. He didn't look too good toward the end of the season, like he was just getting run down. I think Carter can move all over the place. He can be the 3-5 technique, whether it be on the outside, inside, rushing, or something like that. So they want to use the defense a little bit better than with the parts they got right now. But it's going to take some time. That's why they have so many off-season practices this year. Last year they didn't have any. Yeah. This year they got about 10 to 12 to 14. So they're trying to get the defense set because it's kind of hard to go from a 4-3 what they ran the past couple of years to a 3-4. But a lot of these guys on the defensive team, the guys from Georgia, they used to running 3-4. So that's why I think that the secondary is going to be important because you want to get enough pressure with that 3-4 defense. So I mean, I'm not going to hate on what they did. I actually do like the right running back, Will Shipley. I actually like how the way he ran down in Clemson. I liked him last year. Mm-hmm. This year he was a little dinged up, but he does run hard, and I think he's a better running back than Gainwell and what's the other guy? Well, they get Boston Scott. He went to L.A. He went to the Rams. So I think he's a better a running back prospect than those two guys.
Do you think he's better than they had with Swift last year?
No, well, Swift's a different type of player.
There we go.
But I think
they did also bring in Saquon Barkley, so it's not like this guy's going to be starting.
Saquon's going to be starting. You'll have Gainwell be the second guy, and then Shipley will be learning behind him. But eventually, Shipley will take Gainwell's job because he's in the last year's his contract, and Gainwell hasn't really done anything as opposed to that Giants game in the playoffs last year. He hasn't really impressed me at all. And I like the kid from Texas A&M. He was a highly drafted, talented player, but he kept getting hurt. And him and Devin Achane both played at Texas A&M. They kind of looked similar to each other. It's like fast, smaller guy, but he can get out the backfield and just run, and you just be chasing him. But he's been hurt these last couple of years, so that's kind of why he fell down to the 4th round draft pick. But I think if he can get himself healthy, they can kind of use him as a gadget guy. He's played some running back before. He's played some slot receiver before, so they can move him around kind of like they did. Like they used to do with Percy Harvin, who was kind of like a Swiss Army knife. I've seen him actually, so I've seen him play.
So, Taylor, here's the question I want to ask. Have you seen young Trot?
I was about to get to Trot.
Okay.
Trot's light in the ass. That's what I'm going to have to say it. He's not as big as his father. His father's around 240. Yeah. This kid's around, him and Nakobe Dean are around the same size. But he can play. I think, it's a little bit of a, it was a different kind of pick. I think Jeremiah Trotter's, his mom had passed away last year, so that's why you saw the tears and stuff like that. Because I think she tragically passed away from like cancer or something like that. I remember hearing about the story last year. But but I think this kid, I think he's inspired enough. I think he'll definitely make the team. But he's got to put some pressure on Nakobe Dean, who's been hurt the last couple of years, and Devin White, who they just brought in from Tampa Bay, who's good, but. Why did Tampa Bay just let him go? You know what I mean? Guys like that don't just get let go. So I know a lot of people were getting excited. Oh, we're getting Devin White, but we're not talking about the Devin White from 5 years ago who he ran that 4.2. I think he ran a 4.24 at the combine. Every year he hasn't gotten better. You know, he's kind of. And then last year he wanted a contract extension. They didn't give it to him. And they just let him walk. And they re-signed Devontae Davis, who's 35 years old. So I know they're excited about him, but why did they let him go? So he's got some things to prove. So the middle linebacker, I'm still not satisfied with the Eagles' middle linebacker. It's like 3 or 4 question marks, whereas last year it was like 8 question marks. Now it's 4 question marks. So we got to see. The lineman, the kid from Michigan, I think he's good. I think he can challenge for one of the spots on offensive line. I think it's all pretty much set except for the right guard. You know what I mean? So we don't know who that's going to be. And then the Johnny Wilson pick, that's going to be an X factor. I think he could be like Darren Waller. He's big, but they played him a receiver and they put him in a slot. But I think if he gets to a team that can coach him up, maybe put some more muscle on, and maybe he can be like a tight end or something like that, and maybe he'll take Dallas Goddard job. I don't like Dallas Goddard, but I think this guy is 6'7". They list him at 335, but I'm pretty sure he can play at 340 or something like 345. He'd be a tight end, and that's about the size what Darren Waller is, except for I think Darren Waller may be like 6'4" or 6'5". But he kind of reminds me of Darren Waller when he was in college years ago. He was kind of like a tweener between a receiver and a tight end, but I think if he gets that muscle on and works at it, so maybe not this year, he might not do anything, but I think next year, I think you might see Johnny Wilson if they keep him on the team. But he's got to come in and compete and catch the ball because that was his problem. He had a problem, holding on to the football. But Johnny Wilson and Keon Coleman, they were two really good receivers down in Florida State. But, I think Johnny Wilson's just got to catch the ball, and I think he should switch to tight end.
You see, everybody loves Keon Coleman right now. Just off the strength of that press conference.
Yeah, he's a good player. He didn't run a really fast 40 time, but know that Puka Nacua, if you go out there and play, doesn't matter what the speed is. He's got
if you catching the ball, the speed is not really that
doesn't
big
matter.
of a deal.
Because you saw Puka, he was just the ball got to his hand and just stuck to his hands. So, and one thing about Keon Coleman, he will catch the ball. Johnny Wilson, who the Eagles got, he was kind of suspect. He let a lot of balls hit the ground. So we got to see.
Salute to Keon. If you know, you know. And he got a good head on his shoulders. Yeah. Again, if you know, you know. But we was just talking about that press conference, so you should know.
Yeah.
Anywho, moving on from the additions from the draft, they did pick up some people in free agency as well, like we were saying, from Saquon Barkley to my man Devin White from down in Tampa Bay. We just said they brought C.J. Gardner back. They brought in Bryce Huff at linebacker. He's a little older, but they brought in Devontae Parker as well as Paris Campbell at receivers. They brought in C.J. Uzoma at tight end. Who else we got here? Tyler Hall at cornerback. Matt Hennessy, the offensive lineman.
Temple.
Will Greer, quarterback. And then a pair of linebackers with Oren Burks and Zach Bond.
Zach Bond from New Orleans. Okay, I remember him.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. They also re-signed Reed Blankenship, Landon Dickerson, Brandon Graham, Jake Elliott,
AJ,
Avante Maddox, Jordan Mailata. They worked out a deal with Devontae Smith, extending him, and they also worked out a deal with AJ Brown, extending him, which are definitely big deals if you are an Eagles fan. And they did let a couple people go, but I don't think it was really anybody of high significance. I mean, I was a little sad to see DeAndre Swift go, but what the Bears gave him, the Eagles wasn't going to give him. And I was sad to see Hassan Reddick go, but the Eagles was playing games with him.
That didn't make no sense
from last season, sending him out into coverage when he should be rushing the quarterback. And then they was like playing games with him during the off season. And ultimately, that was a weird situation. That might be another similar to like that Devin White or like Ty Hill when the guy just leaves and it's like kind of weird as to why he left.
But it reminded me of another situation they had years ago when they signed a guy. He wanted a pay raise, and they kind of like just got rid of him. I think they did that with like Evan Mathis, the lineman,
Gotcha.
and he went to the Broncos and then won a Super Bowl the very next year, or maybe the year after. You know what I mean? So the Eagles are very weird about who they bring in. They'll give you a contract extension if they quote unquote drafted you. You know what I mean? So, and I think the reason why they gave AJ Brown that contract extension because they just gave one to Devontae Smith, and they wanted to keep AJ because AJ was already making $25 million. I don't know how much he's making right now, but I think they wanted to get in front of getting AJ that money because they know that he's going to cry if Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and another receiver, they're all going to get paid over $30-some-odd million. So the Eagles want to get in front of that and say, well, this guy is probably going to, and he's in the past 2 years he has been good.
Yeah.
He's put up over 1,400 yards and everything.
It's no denying his numbers.
Yeah. Now he did wet the bed in the last 9-10 games because he didn't score no touchdowns. You know what I mean? That's a fact. You know what I mean? But AJ Brown, the overall year was a good year. So I think the team is fine, but I can't just jump out the window and say like that collapse last year. That's something you can't forget because a lot of those people are still on the team. AJ's still there. I mean, not AJ. Jalen's still there. There's no more Fletcher Cox. There's no more Jason Kelsey. So where's the leadership coming at? Brandon Graham is still there, but he's this is his last year. Yeah. You still got Darius Slater, but I don't think he's really a leader. He's not that good anymore like he used to be. So where's the leadership at? If the wheels start to fall off again, who's going to do it? Because we saw that Nick Sirianni, he can't do it and you can tell that Nick Sirianni can't do it because they just got rid of all them coaches and brought in all these new coaches, and basically he don't have no job. You know what I mean? He's just a coach, just in a suit or whatever it is. Because Kellen Moore is going to be running the offense.
I was about to say,
Vic Fangs is 70 years old. He's running the defense.
Got a brand new OC and DC.
Yes, I don't know what Nick's going to be doing. As opposed, I guess he's just going to be calling timeouts and throwing out the challenge flag. I don't see him game planning anything.
Giving inspirational speeches.
Yeah. That might be the only thing he's doing. So I don't know where. I don't know. Like a lot of people are high on the Eagles. I'm kind of like, I don't know. I didn't like what I saw last year. No. Losing 6 out of 7 games was crazy. I went to the Giants game during the Christmas game, and the people and the fans were very like upset. You know what I mean? When they were winning, and then they started to fall back and threw the interception and not running the ball. So I don't know what's going on. Hopefully they can right this ship because the NFC is kind of weak right now. You know what I mean? And eventually it's going to start getting better. Not that the Bears team is going to be good because we don't know about that rookie quarterback. What if he pops off? And he's got 3 receivers right now. What if Jordan Love does what he does last year? You know what I mean? So right now you got to kind of you want to strike while the iron's hot. There's some NFC team that's on the rise.
They're on the cusp.
Yeah, look at the Falcons. Now I think Kirk Cousins stinks, but he can put the ball up. He can put the ball up and throw it to, if he has a halfway decent receiver, he's going to put the ball up and put up numbers and stuff like that. And you saw what happened to Tampa Bay. The Tampa Bay stomped out the Eagles. They didn't score double-digit points in that game. Yeah. And they pretty much brought that team back with Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans and whatever his name is, Chris Godwin, the running back, and they brought back Antonio. Antoine Winfield Jr. They pretty much got their team back. So there's going to be some, but I think it's still quote unquote weak. But like I don't know, like you know what I mean, like the linebacker is weird. And who's pass rushing? Because now you got rid of a guy that got you 30-plus sacks over the last 2 years. How you going to replace that?
Yep.
Is Bryce Huff going to replace that? Because he's a part-time player with the Jets.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know about that. Where's Nolan Smith at? Me and Mikey talked about him last year.
Yep.
He's got to make a big splash this year.
Yeah,
I mean, they didn't draft the outside linebacker, so they absolutely want him to be that guy. Is Josh Sweat going to come back? Because last year he didn't play as good last year. Is he going to come back? And who else? They got another, and then the guy they drafted. So they're outside pass rushers. I don't know. Jalen Carter played well, but disappeared in the second half of the season. Davis, we don't know what's up with this kid. He had an okay rookie season. This year he started off pretty good. Didn't do nothing the last 10, 12 weeks of the season. So they got a lot of question marks on defense. They got more question marks to me on the defense than people think just by signing. I like C.J. Gardner, bringing him back. That was cool. Blankenship, I don't think he's that good. I think they play him too much. I don't think he should be playing that much. I think they should be trying to get him back to being like, he was like the third safety when they went to the Super Bowl. Now they have him starting and being out there 80, 90% of the time. He's not Malcolm Jenkins or anything like that. Malcolm Jenkins can clean up a lot of mess. That's not what Blankenship can do. He over-pursued on a lot. He missed a lot of tackles, and he's kind of injury-prone too. He got dinged up a couple times. CJ is tough, but he's been injured the last couple of times. So if those two get hurt, who you going to have back there? Cooper DeJean and God knows who. I don't know. They brought back Avonte Maddox. I mean, why did do that for? Like, they got a lot of question marks on defense to me. Well, that's just my opinion.
Personally, I think a lot of the fall off last year can be attributed to the offensive defensive coordinators and the schemes that they were running.
Well, you
and
can't blame them now.
That's kind of evident by the fact that they took John Desai out and brought in Matt Patricia, and they just didn't know what they really wanted to do. But like you said, you can't blame that now because we got 2 brand new guys. So time will tell, and we will see how it goes and see how it plays out.
Yeah,
but That is our Eagles offseason and draft recap. And speaking of, the changes and the additions that the Eagles have made this offseason, the general consensus is that you want to try to get your team better. You want to try to improve your team at whatever positions where it was weak, and you want to make additions to better your chances to get to a Super Bowl and win a championship because ultimately that's what they're all playing for. Going around Philly, I saw that they are doing some massive construction and changes to Penn's Landing. The Sixers are thinking about changing uh, their stadium location and moving from South Philly to somewhere closer to Chinatown.
Right there in downtown. Yeah, right on Market Street.
So it's all kind of changes, all kind of things going on that conventionally thinking or speaking, you would say that there are things that they're trying to do to make things better. But my question is making things better always best? Now we had to talk about this offline a couple of days ago when we were kicking around this topic as an idea of whether we want to discuss it on the show or not. And I just think that it's really like it's pertinent right now. Like it's something that people should hear. It's something that people should understand because sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes I believe you have to be happy with where you're at and with what the situation is. Obviously not all the time, but I don't think that better is always best. I don't think that there's always a way to improve things to make it better. And sometimes when you do make improvements to make things better, it can ultimately end up leading to its demise, or it can have negative side effects or consequences that pop up. One, for example, that I had brought up to you was in baseball. They've been talking about for years how baseball games are too long. You don't want to sit there and watch that for hours. You can have innings that are boring. Things just really that people were really harping on the pace and it's slow. So they brought in the pitch clock. Now, not necessarily saying that this is a byproduct of the pitch clock, but they've noticed that since the pitch clock has been brought in, it's resulted in a lot more arm injuries, elbow injuries, people blowing out their elbows, needing Tommy John surgery and stuff like that. That's also a product of people wanting to throw hard and wanting to throw 95 plus miles per hour and 100 miles per hour as opposed to switching it up and throwing some change ups and some off speed pitches, curveballs, stuff like that. Everybody wants to throw hard and fast, but it's all in an effort to make things better, and in some ways it does make things better, but not across the board. So, what do you think about that, Taylor?
Everybody's gonna try to change things no matter what. Like baseball, they looking at the numbers and say, all right, so we're not getting the ratings that we want. We got to make some changes. What are we gonna do? Because at the end of the day, at the end of the day, you want to make money, and if it helps to make you money, I don't care if it's $1 or $2 more. They're gonna make that change. So
That's a fact.
when they made the change about the baseball, speeding up the game. Now you don't have to worry about watching it. There were some games that were on ESPN a couple years ago where they were changing the pitcher because they actually changed the bullpen rules. You got to go against at least three pitchers because they would bring in one pitcher for one player and they would take him out and bring somebody else. That prolongs the game. You know what I mean? So they want to make sure that we got to get these games done in under 3 hours, and they are. So that's kind of why. Now, yeah, are guys going to get hurt? Yeah, but the old saying goes, the needs of the many always outweigh the problems of the few.
Yeah,
So
that's a
people are
fact.
going to get hurt, but you know what I mean. But the product's going to be better. So I think it's just that with baseball. And basketball's going to have to go with this too because I heard that I think the TNT contract about to be up. They're
Yes, it
thinking about
is.
going to NBC. What if NBC brings them something that's better than what TNT is bringing them? They're going to go to NBC no matter what. They don't care what you got in your house or what you have or something like that. It's always going to be what's better for them because more money for them is better for them. With the Sixers, they don't want to pay rent or lease no more to that stadium. They don't own that stadium. But if they build one downtown, they will own that. And the last thing a rich man or a billionaire wants to do is pay rent. I mean, you've never been around a billionaire. If you tell him you got to pay rent, he's going to probably be pissed off.
I get it.
They want to buy their own private. They don't want to rent a private jet. They want to have their own private jet.
Buy it outright.
So people will rent from them.
Yeah.
They don't want to pay rent down at that stadium no more. I know it's going to be inconvenience for you, but I bet you damn sure if they put that stadium down there and build it within 2 years, your ass will be getting up on that train. You'll be going down there to watch them games. That's for them. You ain't going to protest. You know what I mean?
That's
so it's all about it's all about, at the end of the day, it's about, the money with them. They're going to do what's best for them, and then you're just going to have to deal with it. So that's kind of how pretty much everything goes in sports. I mean, that's kind of how it is. We've been living in this world for years where back in the day they used to have traffic lights. They used to have a green and a red. Well, now you have a yellow light because people out here be driving crazy and stuff like that. Back in the day, be accidents, people be getting killed. So back in the day, that was cool, but now we got to make it better to make it safer. So that's just how the world goes. They're always going to, whatever it starts, it's not going to be, that's not what it's going to be. They're always going to change it to make it better for everyone, not just for 6 or 7 people who don't want it. Well, forget you. You'll be dead soon anyway, so they don't care.
Well, you did make a good point about, unfortunately, the case is that the needs of the many do outweigh the needs of the few, or the wants of the few.
The needs of the many are far outweigh the problems of the few. That's the saying. That's what they're going to do, that no matter what. You know what I mean? So we don't care. When they made the Blue Route, some people didn't want to sell their house. They're like, oh, all right, we just going to run this highway through your backyard then. You know what I mean? Everyone else took their money and left. The little 6 or 7, 8 people that didn't want to, they eventually had to chalk it up. You know what I mean? It happens all the time. You know what I mean? Capital is always going to win. Capitalization is always going to win no matter what. So it was better for them. You're going to have to deal with it. Yeah, this is what it is. It's always been like that. I don't have a problem with capitalism. Some people do. I don't. It doesn't matter to me. If it's better, and if it hurts some people, I mean, oh well, it is what it is. It's going to happen no matter what. You can't stop it.
Ultimately, I guess you could say you can't fight progress, but progress isn't always it isn't always the best in the end. I guess you can't think about it like that because you'll be going around in circles.
Yeah.
If you're thinking too much about the negative ramifications and the negative things that can happen and pop up, then you're never gonna get nothing done. You gotta focus on what the goal is and what you're trying to achieve, and figure out the best way to get about that.
Absolutely, yeah. So I mean, that's kind of it is what it is. I'm saying, yeah, you might not think is best, but they're gonna make it happen no matter what. That's just, I'm pretty sure that's how it's gonna be. The reason why they're doing the Penn Land and stuff is for the World Cup that's gonna be here in a couple of years. So they got to make sure that place looks good. They got to get that new bridge down there. So that's better for the actual city of Philadelphia. You know what I mean? So I was just downtown a couple of days ago, and they're doing a lot of renovating down there. They're making some of the roads a little bit more better. So they're just doing it because they want it to be more of a tourist, and it's going to bring them more money. Everything at the end of the day, everything comes down to that almighty
the dollars.
So, you know what I mean? So anytime you're thinking about what's best and what's better, it's not that, it's what's going to make me more or make us more money. That's
make
pretty
us
much
more dollars. Make us more dollars.
At the end of the day, this is why this world's spinning, because of that paper. So it is what it is.
Money make the world go round. Cash. I'm gonna tell you like a nigga told me. Cash was everything around me.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's what it is.
You're right. All right. Well. Anything else you have for that topic?
No, that's pretty much
best
it.
Always better.
Better
always best.
It's going to happen no matter what. So you can say, "Oh no, it's not." It's going to happen.
you can fight it. You're just going to end up looking.
Whether you like it or not, someone's going to outvote you. Someone's going to outmaneuver you, and it's going to happen anyway. So it's really nothing you can do. It's like a lose-lose situation. You might as well just focus your attention to something else. That's pretty much it.
I hear you. All right, cool. Well. It's no doubt that one of the big discussions of 2024 is going to be, as I like to refer to it as, the Compton-Canadian War. Kendrick going back and forth with Drake, and Drake trying to fight off Rick Ross and A$AP Rocky and everybody else that was trying to go at him.
Abel.
Yeah, and The Weeknd
taking shots singing.
But yeah, so. With that being in mind, that kind of, I guess you could say, invigorated Kendrick Lamar's streaming success. They said that his Spotify numbers is up like 5%. Not Like Us has broken all kind of records for solo song streams for a day. And I think I saw that it passed as being the all time highest stream song in the United States on Spotify, I
That's a good
believe.
look. That's a good look for them for putting it on streaming sites.
Yeah,
As soon as
yeah,
it came out, that's very smart what
and
they
that's
did.
that's a good thing with not using other people's beats.
Yeah,
When you're using original beats, it can go straight to
go
the
straight
streaming
to
site.
streaming site. That's right.
And salute to Kendrick. I heard that he removed the copyrights from the diss songs that he put up so that people could actually profit off them. So that's pretty fire too. But if that's true. But with all that in mind, our top five for this week is going to be listing off our top five Kendrick Lamar songs. We've done a gang of top five song lists for other artists, and periods in time, top five songs in the first 6 months of the year, top five albums of the year, things like that. But we've never gotten to Kendrick.
Yeah, we did a
So
Drake one a year or so ago. If y'all want to go back and dig through, we did one of those already.
no, no. I think we did a top five best Drake songs, and I think we did a top five worst Drake songs.
Oh, I think we did.
I'm
do
pretty
that.
sure we did.
Yeah.
So y'all got
We
to
gotta
look
bring
in
that back. We're gonna
Yo,
we're
yo,
gonna we're gonna bring back the worst
the
of what
worst.
people
Oh yeah,
did
we're,
too.
we're gonna be
So
doing
after this
top
Kendrick
five
Lamar,
worst too.
don't be surprised if we go a month or two from now. We go to his worst. So we don't just do the top five best. We go down to the toilet and find out who what the worst song is. Especially if you've been out for like 10 years or something like that.
That's a fact.
Just because you're good. I mean, LL's my guy, but I'm pretty sure he's made some trash.
Some people do got some
Jigga
garbage
Man's
out
made
here.
some trash.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I'm
yeah.
pretty sure Michael has made some trash. You know what I mean? So we're gonna dig through and we're gonna give you the good side and we're gonna give you the bad side.
I'm
You know
gonna
what I
give you
mean?
both sides of the coin.
Yeah.
All right, so number five on my list, I have a song that's towards the back end of his actual first album. I know they try to say Section 80 is his first album now. It was my understanding that Section 80 was a mixtape that just kind of increased his notoriety, kind of like Cushion Orange Juice did for Wiz. But it's called Sing About Me. And it's split up into two songs. It's Sing About Me, and I think Dying of Thirst is the other part of the song.
I thought that was on Good Kid.
Yeah, that's what I said. Good
Oh,
Kid,
it was on
Mad
good.
City.
Oh, it was on Good Kid. My bad. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
yeah.
I'm about to say it's on Good Kid. That's a dope song.
But that joint is hard. Just the message behind it, and the thoughts about it. About if people are gonna think about you, still think about you after you're gone, after you passed on, or if everything's just gonna go back to the regular way it was. And just the beat, the vibe on that song is really fire, and that's one of the things about a good amount of the Kendrick songs that are on my list is he's a very lyrical rapper, but I more so prefer the songs where he was like on a vibe. So number four on my list is an unreleased song. It's featuring Gunplay. This is one of those if you know you know joints, but it's called Cartoons and Cereal. And I think that was like an early on joint he did. I think it was supposed to be on one of his albums, maybe Good Kid, Mad City, or maybe Section 80, but there was some type of clearance issue and it didn't end up happening or panning out. But still a hard song. You can still find it if you look for it on the YouTubes. But Cartoons and Cereal, that joint is definitely a vibe, and just the way he spits on it. And then also, I'm not gonna lie, the video. Somebody made like a video that's synced up with it with a bunch of like different cartoons, and that joint just it takes me back when I was a little kid watching cartoons, and that was kind of like the thing. So it's a little bit of a nostalgia to that song too, but the beat is hard, no doubt, and that's my number four. Number three, I'm gonna take it back to Good Kid, Mad City, and it is I think the third song on the album, but it's Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe, and that song is a vibe. I'm sure you know it, I'm sure you've heard it, but that joint is definitely hard. And obviously he got the remix he did. He got Jay-Z to hop on that. So
Which one you like better? You
that
like the original or you like the remix?
I like the original better. No
Okay.
slight, no disrespect to the Jigga Man, but I
Okay.
just like the original better. Did you have a preference out of those two?
I didn't really like that song like that. So you know
I
what I
didn't
mean.
really
So
like the song. Never mind.
yeah, I mean it was cool, but it wasn't like something I was like, oh, I gotta knock this joint. That was it was cool. So I
Wow.
didn't. Asking me is probably not probably not good for me.
I dig it. I dig it. But for me, it's a joint I got to knock. And I got to give a salute to my homie, DJ Popo, because he put me onto the original song that song is like sampled and like made from. It's a group out of Denmark called the Boom Clap Bachelors. And the song is called Titan Flyver. It's in, I guess they speak Swedish. I'm not, well, no, they're not Swedish because that's Sweden. But I'm not sure what they speak in Denmark, but that is a dope song and it's in their language. So that one's fire. And it sounds exactly the same sonically. Number two on my list is his most recent track, Not Like Us. And obviously that's a single. It was a diss. Came at Drake in their ongoing feud back and forth. But that song right there, when that joint come on, that beat just gets me. I see dead people. Yo, that joint is too much, bro. And just the beat, it just makes me want to move. It's like a real West Coast sounding, like Bay Area sounding beat. And my honorable mention that I have is a similar type of beat with like the vibe and the feel to it, but we're gonna get to that in a minute. And I'm gonna close out my list with number one. And number one is another song of Good Kid, Mad City. You see, I'm mad partial, but it's Money Trees, and that joint is a vibe too, man. It just gets me every time when it gets to the hook. It go Halle Berry or Hallelujah. Pick your poison, tell me what you do. Everybody gonna respect the shooter, but the one in front of the gun lives forever. The one in front of the gun forever. And I've been hustling all day, this away, that away, through canals and alleyways, just to say, Money Trees is the perfect place for shading. That's just how I feel.
J Rock went off on that joint.
Yes, sir.
I
J
think
Rock
I
went
think he's the
off on
best
that
part of that
joint
song.
like
Yeah.
that. Song is just hard, man. Anytime I hear it, it just gets me in that vibe, and I just gotta just rock with that joint. So that is gonna close out my top 5 Kendrick Lamar songs. So I will swing it over to
So
Taylor,
Money Trees won,
so he can give you yours. Yes, Money Trees is number 1.
and 2 was
Not Like Us.
Not Like Us. 3
Number
was
3 was Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe.
okay. And
Number 4 was Cartoons and Cereal.
okay, I got you.
And number 5 was Sing About Me.
Got you. Okay, sounds good. Okay.
Boom.
All right. My number 5 is brand new. That Meet the Grams. That's number. That's my number 5 right now. A song that's been out for less than a week or however long it's been, a couple days, whatever it's been. That haunting beat, and the crazy thing was when it came out, no one knew it came out. So I'm listening to Drake's Family Man. I said this is kind of hard, and then people are on the internet saying Kendrick drop. I said, what they talking about Kendrick drop? And then I'm watching the YouTube stream. They said, oh no, Kendrick dropped another song. I said, really? So I go to Kendrick's page. I don't follow Kendrick. So I'm on YouTube and I go to his page and I said, well, I had to click 2 things and it was there for like 16 minutes. And it had like maybe 13,000 views. I said, well, that's a lot in 16 minutes. Or maybe it's 16,000 views. I listened to it. I said, whoa. I said, when I first heard it, I said, this is an Alchemist beat. But I said, let me listen to the bars. Now, like, oh, my man is going in. And that last verse is where he like when he broke it down. He was
Baby girl.
when he was talking to that's the next to last. That last verse when he's talking to Aubrey.
Yeah.
And I think he wrote that either that night or that day. Like that was recent. The other stuff I think he pre-recorded. I think that last verse was like written like
most
recently, and he said something about Family Matters in there. So he must have known about Family Matters
He
or
said
something.
something about Family Matters and this guy's plan to expose it.
That was genius. You know what I mean? Talk to that man's mama, his daddy, his son. I mean, and like I said, the song called Meet the Grants, he broke down his whole family.
Yeah.
I thought that was like that was the death blow right
genius.
there. You know what I mean? That was the one where he elbowed him in his mouth and he couldn't do nothing. He had to hold his mouth. He couldn't do nothing about that.
Death
That
blow.
was the death blow right there. The other one he just danced on his head, but that one right there, that was the death blow. So that's
Not like us. That's the celebration record.
that was a celebration record. My number 4 is "Stay Ready" with Janae Aiko off of that's her sellout album. So they've done a couple songs together, but I like that one a little bit better. And I think the beat switches up too. Yeah, I mean, dope song. That's that's a hard song because I remember when I was listening to her I guess I was dealing with a female, and I was like, well, that's Kendrick's on this? She's like, yeah. And I just like, oh man, this a dope song, and I think they sound good together. They haven't done the music since then, but I think they should link back up and do a song. This is like 2013 or something like that. Kendrick,
No doubt.
I mean, so Stay Ready off of Janae Aiko's album. I think it was on a mixtape first, and they put it on her album. And they put that song on there. That's a dope song. Number 3, I'll go to. I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't really. Mikey's a bigger fan of the Good Kid, man. I didn't really like that album like that. I ain't gonna hold it. I thought it was trash. But yeah, I mean, but everyone
you sound
like
you sound like
but everyone loves
like Shine.
Shine who?
When it came out, Shine. You know Shine.
Oh, he said he didn't like the album.
He didn't like it at all.
I didn't know that, but I remember listening to it. I was like, it's not for me. Like there was I didn't like the I hear that song was trash. But the one song I did like on there, Money Tree was cool too, but I kind of thought J-Rock kind of got off of him. But the Backseat Freestyle by Hit Boy produced. That was a dope song. Man, that song was dope. I thought the video was dope too. He's in the video, in the black and white video. But Backseat Freestyle, that's a dope song. And I do like Hit Boy's beat. That was a dope song.
Hit Boy got joints.
All my love, I'll live a gun. I like that song. I like that flow because he was going in. He was kind of showing his rap styles on that. He was flipping like how the way he raps and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Dope track, and that's one of my favorite joints. Number 2, some of y'all probably never even heard this song before, but he got a song with Currency and C.R.E.A.M called "Push Through."
Yes, sir.
Fire track, man.
Yes,
Fire
sir.
track. Now he's featured on it, but he spits the last verse, and it kind of felt like Talib Kweli was trying to remake Respirations, but no Common and no Mos Def. And I thought I don't want to say he did it better than the first one was gonna be good, but I kind of felt he did like a new age one, and I thought it was a dope. Because remember, Talib Kweli went middle on the original Respiration. I thought this was kind of like a newer one. Currency was first, he went second, and Kendrick went last.
Yep.
Dope song, Push Through. I can listen to that song over and over and over again. The hook is dope. You know what I mean? So that's one of my favorite Kendrick joints on there. I mean, but yeah, you can find that. Find it anywhere. You know what I mean? That's one of my favorite joints.
That joint is hard.
Yeah, man. But my number 1 favorite is "Fear" off the Damn album.
That joint's hard.
Another haunting beat by Alchemist. I mean, I can listen to that song a couple times. Why God do I gotta suffer? Like that song is dope, man.
What happens on Earth stays on Earth.
Yeah, that's a dope track. Yeah, I mean that's a really, really dope track. The way it was made, how it's laid out, and he's just out there just.
And that was one of the ones where the beat switches up in it, right?
Yeah, a little bit towards the end. Yeah, I mean, yeah, but the main beat was done by Al, and that's a dope track off of the Damn album. I did like Damn album. Damn album was dope.
Damn had joints on it.
And Morale was cool. Pepper Butterfly was cool. I just didn't. The first one just wasn't for me. Just wasn't for me. But I kind of felt he kind of built up to where he's at right now, and now I'm actually kind of looking forward to what he does put out now because he gave us like 4 or 5 tracks, and you give us 6 or 7 more. That's an album. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't be surprised if he put some of these songs on an album. I'll listen to it. You know what I mean? But those are my top 5. So Fear off the Damn album. That was 2017. That's one of my favorite Kendrick joints right there. That's my number 1. No one's gonna have that as a number 1. No one's gonna have the joint he did with Janae Aiko, however you say her name.
Yeah.
No one's gonna have Push Through on a list. No one's gonna have that. You know what I mean? So
Push Through came close to getting on my list, but I tried to pick all joints that was like Kendrick.
Yeah,
like his joints, like Taylor threw in joints that Kendrick was featured on, so he took a little bit of a different angle.
Well, I like Kendrick. I think he's a little overrated. So you know what I mean. So sometimes I can't can't take too much of him by himself. I mean, he's cool. I mean, but I don't hate the man. But I mean, another song I like. This was my sixth man is "Never Catch Me." It's on a Flying Lotus joint. He's rapping. He's kind of singing. He's spitting fast. But at the end, the beat just kind of. But the thing is, he's on the song, but it's like the beat speeds up and it starts beating. That's a dope song too.
Gotcha.
I mean, so he's got joints, I mean, but sometimes I like to hear. I just like to hear the melodies and stuff like that, as opposed to just hearing him. I don't think he's trash, but I think he's a little overrated. But what he's done over these past, couple of days, weeks, or months with just stomping out the white boy. I mean, I'm sorry, man. I gotta give that man his credit. I mean, so he's going through a battle. I was doubting him. He proved me wrong, and I can't hate on this man. So he's he can cement himself as one of these guys now. Now I understand why they had him at quote unquote number 2 on that Billboard list that me and Mikey. Well, I hated on. I don't know about Mikey.
I hated on it too. That shit was trash.
I thought that was too high for him.
That list was terrible.
But now I can be like, all right, well he
Basura B.
Yeah, I was like, all right, number 2. Okay, I get it right now because the man does have skill, and the songs he made. Whether it took him a week or 2 weeks, that's pretty beautiful. A lot of these guys can't do that in 2 weeks. A lot of these guys, it takes them 2-3 years. So the reason why he's taking breaks because he wants to make quality over quantity. I want to make good stuff. I don't just want to throw stuff out to see what sticks to the wall. I mean, so yeah, I'll give him that. I always like that song he did with Chris Brown too. Was it "Broken Leaves" or "Fallen Leaves" or something like that? What was that song?
I don't know that song.
Yeah, it's a dope song. But now Chris Brown's singing, but then he kind of gets on it and kind of does his whole thing.
I got you.
Yeah, but that's a dope track too.
I got a couple of honorable mentions. My sixth man would be a joint off of the Black Panther soundtrack. It was called "Paramedic."
Oh yeah, okay.
And he only is on like a little part of the song. He's on like the beginning. He has like the first 2 or 3 bars, and then he's on like the hook. And there's a couple other guys on it. This dude S.L.E.E.P and I guess R.B.E. But that song is hard. And like I said, that's in that same type of up tempo, like West Coast vibe that Not Like Us is on.
I got you.
So I bang with that joint. And then it's a joint off Damn called Feel. And I like that song a lot too.
Okay.
The beat on this hard, and just the way that he approaches it. He keeps saying "feel" throughout the course of the song, in just different contexts and different ways, and uses that. So that's another one of my honorable mentions. Taylor, did you have any other ones?
The song with Chris Brown is called "Autumn Leaves." That joint is hard.
Okay.
And he got another song with Gucci Mane called "Perfect Pint." That's a dope song off of Mike Will, one of Mike Will's compilation.
Perfect
That's a hot
Pint.
song too. Yeah. Listen, man, I know his music now. Don't even though I'm not a quote unquote I'm not a fan of anybody. I know his music. I've listened to it. and I'm like, okay, all right. It's cool. But he got a song called "Perfect Pint" on one of Mike. I think it's Ransom too. So it was kind of hard, Then he started working with Mike Will on that Damn album, So, yeah, I know his catalog very, very well. I know it, I know he's done a couple. I know he did a song with Schoolboy Q off of was it Sexy 80? That song was cool, So I know his catalog. I know it very, very well.
He did a joint with Pusha T off "My Name Is My Name."
Oh yeah,
called
what's it called? Something
called "Nostalgia."
Yeah, I remember that song.
That joint is hard too.
Yeah, I don't like Pusha
that.
P, but I remember that song though. Yeah.
I like that song. I like that song.
Yeah, but he's got a lot of joints out here. Like I said, he's got a bunch. But I think at this point right now, I think Aubrey lit the fire in this man. So I wouldn't be surprised if you saw this man outside a little bit more, doing more tracks. I don't want to compare it to what Nas did. 'Cause remember, Nas was kind of doing this thing too. And when Jay-Z kind of woke him up, then you start seeing Nas doing the lost tapes, and now the albums are coming out more consistently right now. Don't be surprised if you start seeing Kendrick, outside more, making more music. That Mustard track, we didn't even know he had it in him, and he made a dance track that's going to be played in the clubs this summer and the next summer's beyond. We didn't know we had that in him. Yeah.
And that joint is a
it
bop,
was fire.
dog.
Yeah, it was fire.
That joint is busted.
Hard.
That shit is
I
hard.
listened to it today. It's hard. It's a hard track. I can't hate. That song was hard.
Definitely.
I just laughed because I know the words toward the end. I know OV ho. I know all that stuff, man.
Now
freaky
stab
ass-
this way. Stab that
Freaky
way.
ass nigga use a 69 guy. I was like, yo, what is he doing? It's a hot song. It's a hot song. Like he's got so many quotables in there that it's kind of. I can see why Drake waved the white flag. So I'm done with this nigga.
I'm gonna just leave him alone.
I'm gonna leave him alone. I started and I got killed. Let me stop.
All right, bet. Well, that's gonna close our this episode's edition of Top 5, and we are going to end this episode with Mike's Minutes. And my message for y'all this week is kind of similar to what I was saying before in the most recent other episode where I was talking about sticking to the plan and staying down with what you're trying to do. But what I want to say to y'all this week is just about blocking out noise. You know what I'm saying? Blocking out anything that's in your life that's pushing you outside of your goals, pushing you outside of what you want to do. Now, obviously, I'm talking about stuff that's productive. I'm not talking about you trying to hurt people. I'm not talking about you trying to do people dirty or knock people over the head or rob nobody or nothing like that. But if you have positive goals in your life that you're trying to achieve, positive places you're trying to get to, things that you're trying to do, you have to block out the outside noise, and you have to block out the people that's naysayers, the people that's doubting you, the people that's saying that you can't get to where you want to get, because that is going to help derail you from getting to where you want to get. So that's my message this week. That's what I want to get across, the point that I want to make. You got to block out that noise, whether it's your family, your parents, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, baby mom, baby father, brother, sister, cousins, aunts, uncles, friends, whoever, teachers, whoever, anybody that's trying to knock you on getting to your positive goal, your better place, your dream, your wherever the end of your road is, the end of your rainbow. You got to block it out. And you got to make sure that you listening to the voices that are supporting you, that are encouraging you, and most importantly, that voice should be coming from inside. And you should believe in yourself, and you should be pushing yourself. But you got to get the people that's noise, that's negative, that's in the way, out of the way, so that you can get to where you want to get, and that you can build to where you want to be at. And that's my message for y'all this week, man. I hope it helps somebody. I hope that it gives you something to think about, and helps you to do what you need to do to get yourself where you need to go, because that's what we trying to do up here. So you can follow us on Twitter and IG, and check out the YouTube page at Sleep is for You. That's S.L.E.E.P, the number 4, YOU. Look out for audio episodes on all streaming platforms. I forgot to mention this last episode, but sleepisforyou.com is back up and running. That is the hub for all things sleep related. So make sure you go there and check us out, see what's going on with me and Taylor, and what we want you to know about the show. And you can see clips there. We're gonna have clips coming there, and yeah, that's gonna be the spot where you need to go. And you can access our social medias from there. You can access YouTube from there, our YouTube page. And also, I'm proud to announce sleepisforyou.printify.me. That is our merch site. So you can see, got that popping. I need more sleep. I'm telling you, I need more sleep. Y'all see me yawning this whole episode. Taylor was yawning too. But make sure you go there and check out what we got. We got a t-shirt right now. We got a hoodie, and we got a sweatshirt. So obviously the hoodie and sweatshirt, if you want to get that, to break that out in September, October, definitely do so. But that t-shirt is popping. We got a few different colors. Right now I'm rocking the red, but I also personally have a black one and a green one. And there are some other ones on the site as well. But again, that is Sleep is for You, SLEEPIS, the number 4 YOU .printify, which is PRINTIFY .me. And you can go there and check out what we got going on as far as our merch, support what we got going in the movement. And yeah, that's about it. Taylor, you got anything else you got to say to the people?
Man, have a good summer. Like and subscribe, all that stuff, man. Keep checking us out, man. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Appreciate
He's
it.
staying on point with the like and subscribe. I gotta, as long as he keeps doing that, I gotta keep clapping for him.
Yeah.
And he's not a forgetful person, so you know.
Oh no, I forget a whole
That's
lot of
what's
stuff.
up. Don't listen to him. But yeah, that's gonna do it for us. We appreciate y'all listening, checking us out, listening to what we got to say, and have a good week. Water.
You need more sleep.
Excellence! Yeah. We back. into that emo rap. Ain't no kilo stash, Augusta's son had to reload that. Daddy gone, but his legacy strong, how do you figure? I too thought I'd be dead, all things considered, but I'm living, thriving and growing, fighting opponents that I'm with it. Striving to know who died for the lowest, don't you get it? The industry hopers try to control us, I ain't with it. I got me a goal that's highly explosive with my wife and my baby. What I'm writing is weighty, call me S.L.E.E.P. They knighting me lately, stand where the light is, feeling lighter than lighter than maybe I'm getting grown. Nothing wrong with Bible and Baileys, I open up the text, got my mind closer off the edge, goes the architect. I ain't gotta go to your connect, I gotta go direct, him and I, through the sun up.